Hi guys, welcome to this little video where we're going to have a look at trying to recreate this header that hopefully you can see on your screen in front of you. Now, this is not the most sophisticated piece of work I've ever done, but it would suffice for a simple header that could go onto the Samoa Heart of the Pacific webpage, and it does demonstrate a few advanced skills, enough for one of the criteria for the assessment, where you have to be able to use a different program such as Photoshop and use some advanced skills in that. So that's one of the things which is required. So let's get into this and see how this can be created. Okay, now on our web page, I'm just going to go to that and open this in a browser. What you can see is that we have an existing header at the top here that let's say I wanted to put a new one in here or have one from scratch. So when you are deciding what to do in Photoshop, one of the first things you got to do is to decide on the size of the file, the image file you're going to create in Photoshop. I mean the width and the height. So our web page here is 1024 pixels wide, and I have found from previous experience that a height of 128 pixels is a pretty good sort of width by height dimensions to use. So let's go back to Photoshop here, and I'm going to create a new file. Okay, the width 1024, the height 128. Make sure that the resolution is only 72. Okay, that's going to be important for web work, that we have the resolution low while still retaining the ability to have reasonable quality. The reason for this being resolution reasonably low is that we don't want the images to take forever to load. The other thing I'm going to do up here is to put a name in. So now, since I've already done this before, I'm going to call it Samoa Heart of the Pacific 2, and then I'm going to save. Okay, I've already got Samoa header, so I'm going to call this Samoa header 1 for me. The other thing I want to do here is I do want to zoom this up a bit. So I'm going to click on View, Fit on Screen. Okay, now that I've got that, let's save that. And the background here is transparent, which is good. I do want to get the foreground color being a blue shape, so blue color. So the color that I've chosen here is this hash 1BA3BB. Now obviously when you come to do your own work, you can decide on your own background color. So for now I'm just going to go with this one, which I previously have worked with. So here is the foreground color. If I click on that, you can choose different colors for your foreground. So having chosen your color, let's go to the paint tool. So if you click on the right little bottom arrow there and things don't pop out, just right click. Okay, we want to use the paint bucket tool. So I had to right click to get these other tools shown here, and I'm going to just click inside here, making sure that I've selected previously the foreground. Okay, that's good, and let's save that, Control S. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to get the image of the children on the right hand side here. Okay, so I'm going to go File, Open, and I'm going to choose this Culture 1 image, and notice that that is now a separate file, which is fine. What I am going to have to do for a start though, to work with this, I need to change the background from being locked. So I'm just going to double click on where it says background. It says name layer 0. Just leave that and click OK. Now I'm going to go to this tool here, the second one down, which is the selection tool, and I want to choose the elliptical marquee tool. If it says rectangular, choose from the little triangle, so expand that. If that doesn't work, right click elliptical marquee tool. And this option up here is going to be important for our work. Okay, I want you to make sure it says feather and change that to 20 pixels, 20p. So just type 20 in there and press enter. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to select this group of children in the middle here and leave some of the background out of it. Just want them to be the focus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, see where my cursor is, I'm going to start selecting from about out here, and yeah, that'll do. I can always move this selection later. Okay, so having done that, I'm now going to use the down arrow. Now I think that's actually going to be a little bit too big. So Control D to deselect. So I'm going to bring this cursor in a bit and try that again. I want this to be tall enough to be able to select the children's heads. Now I can move that over a bit. I can actually go to the edge there and drag that over. It doesn't matter if it looks like I haven't selected all of the children here, because this feather will move out 20 pixels. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try that again. There is a bit of trial and error involved with this kind of work. Yeah, that's better, about there. Let's try that. So having got that selected, I'm now going to go Control C to copy that, and now I'm going to go back to my header where there's nothing in here. Now I'm going to go Control V for pasting. Notice this pastes it as a new layer. So have a look over here on the right. So it says layer 2, and you think, well, that's far too big. Okay, that's fine for now. Now to resize it, we're going to go Control T, and you see these handles here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of the corner handles, hold down Shift key, and then we're going to make it about there, and let's just move it back over the top. Still a bit too big for me. Okay, now that's not looking too bad, still a bit too big. Yeah, getting there almost. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, once you've got that about the size you want, press enter. Now I want to move this to the right. I don't want some of the background here still a little distracting. So what I'm going to do, just to get around that problem, is I'm going to select the move tool here and just move that over to the right, and we'll just move it so that we have the boy basically on the right there, and remove some of the background, as much of that as possible. There we go. About there now about there. Okay, you can always use the down arrow key or the left and right arrow keys just to get that perfect. Not quite perfect. Let's move it down a little bit. Press enter. Okay, so there we go. Got the children, okay, in the right place there. You may think that looks a little blurry. If you go view back to 100, you'll see that it actually sharpens up a little bit, and that's fine for a web page in terms of, you know, the sharpness of the background, the header. Okay, let's go back to view and fit on screen. Okay, let's get another image in. So let's go File, Open, and let's go to that image of the beach. I'm going to choose Samoa Beach 10, this one here. Okay, and we're going to do the same kind of thing. Okay, so background where it says locked at the moment, double click on that. It says layer 0, that's fine, click OK. And let's go to the elliptical marquee tool. And once again, for this one, I'm going to see if we can get this part on the right here sort of fading out a bit. It doesn't matter if we're not selecting some of the material on the left here. And let's just move that back a fraction. Okay, that should be about right. Let's go Control C for copy. Let's go to our header. Make sure that's saved. And now Control V for pasting in. Once again, far too large, so let's go Control T and let's bring that in to about there, about the height of the header itself. Okay, and apply that. Let's move that over to the left there. And now we have an image fading into the background, which is good. That's about what I wanted. Okay, let's save that. Control S for saving. Okay, that's good. So we've got a couple of images in there using some feathering techniques, which is good. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is to put the text in. Okay, so let's go text. Now for text, if it says something like 14 point and it's black or something, or even if it's blue, same color as our text, let's just imagine that you'd started off that way. Okay, well, before you start typing, I would suggest that we change that to at least black so we can see it. And let's bump the size of this up to something like 36, and let's put in Samoa, part of the Pacific. And once we've got that, we can use the move tool to move this to a slightly better place for us to work on it. And I'm going to go back to the text tool. Be careful about with the text tool, if you click away you're going to start making new stuff, so I don't want that. So this layer 4 that I accidentally created, I'm going to have to select that and then click on the rubbish bin and delete that layer. Make sure you're not selecting the layer you want to work on, or the one that you've done, or one of the other ones that you've done. So let's go back to the text tool and click inside there, so it should have a line underneath and look selected now. So having done that, let's highlight that, and now I'm going to change this to a reddish color. In fact, I'm going to go down the bottom here and select this dark red. That's good. And if it goes like that and you can't quite see it, we'll click away. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. Let's make that slightly bigger. Now that's getting to be too big, so I'm going to have to go with my own choice here. Let's go with something like 40 pixels. And I do want the word Samoa to be slightly bigger, so I'm going to select that on its own and make that about 48. Okay, it's looking too bad. Now in terms of font choice, I'm just going with the standard font here. Okay, I'm going with what's that, Georgia Italic. Now if it's not that, well, you can change it to that, and you can you've got a vast selection of different fonts here to use, but wouldn't get too carried away with trying to get just the right font. Go with something that's reasonably simple and easy to read. Okay, so having done that, now I want to apply a few advanced techniques to this text here. So having got that selected and that layer selected, I'm going to go to this FX option. Notice I have to change to the selection tool there, make sure this layer is selected and click on FX and go to blending options. Now you can play around with this quite a bit, but what I'm going to do is do some reasonably simple things. I want to bevel this. If you move that out of the way, you can see how that's making some changes to the text. I do want to contour it as well, making it sort of stand 3D almost out from the page a little bit. And with the contour options, you can increase that a bit if you wanted to. Dragging that from left to right till we get something that I'm happy with, which is about where it was actually. Click OK. Let's go back to that. Sorry, shouldn't have got rid of that. Blending options. And for the next thing I want to do is I want to change the drop shadow. So I can see there's a bit of a shadow appearing there now. So let's go into that option there. Okay, I've got that set currently to a sort of red color. So I want that to be a little bit of a contrast, so I'm going to move that up to make that slightly darker. And let's make the distance, let's try 10 pixels, see what that looks like. No, a little bit too much for me. Let's try 5. Let's muck around with the angle there a little bit. You can play around with the, okay, it's getting to be more like it, but I want the shadow to be on the other side, getting more something like that. And that will do for me, and I do want a bit of an outer glow. Okay, and you can go back to that drop shadow if you think that the distance is a little bit too much. We could go with just 2 pixels. No, not enough. Let's try 3. Okay, it's looking okay. Color, I want to define that a little bit more. These blend options here you can play around with. Not that they're making a heck of a lot of difference. Okay, well, I'm not going to spend too long on this. Okay, that'll do. So 5, 5, 2 there, and that angle there. Yep, got a bit of a shadow effect going there. Alright, so there's a heck of a lot more we could do with this, but in terms of a basic header, a couple of advanced techniques shown, a bit of effects shown on the text there, and a little bit of use of feathering and some layers. That's pretty good for half an hour or so work. So let's save that. Now, one thing that we're going to have to do, and I'll need to show you this in class, is how we would save this for the web, so it's not a PSD image anymore, but something like a TIFF file that we can then put into our web page, and that's something I'll show you in class, guys. So catch you there.